The Anthropic Principle. The Anthropic Principle states, in order for the universe to be acknowledged, it requires the conditions for you to exist so that you can acknowledge it. Let's derive a thought on the premise of this principle. Some may use the wonders of our planet as an argument for a higher power, intelligent designer, or some entity operating beyond the confines of physics. This universe is a vast ocean of probability, and the process of creating something as wondrous as life can happen, given 10 to the power of 24 estimated planets and a time frame of 14 billion years. Again, 10 to the power of 24 potential planets to harbor life. That's a 1, followed by 24 zeros. Write that down on a piece of paper and let that thought detonate in your brain. This doesn't even include exomoons, exodwarf planets, and countless other celestial bodies. For all those countless outcomes in which planets do not contain the conditions for life, life never forms, and we're never there to make that observation. Think about it. Just because we exist within a favorable outcome, and are therefore capable of observing the wonders of this planet, does not serve credence to an explanation that's beyond rationale. It's quite important we see the bigger picture. Otherwise, we can be tempted to come to conclusions devoid of logical substance. Let's expand on this thought and use a typical lottery game to serve as an analogy. Your probability of winning a lottery is 1 in 175 million. An average of 30 million people play this game, and let's just assume for the simplicity of this analogy, only one person wins a lottery at any given game. The one who does have the favorable outcome of winning may have a very difficult time grasping how an event of such small probability and such powerful impact is nothing more than the product of sheer coincidence. Especially if just yesterday this guy's doctor told him that his mother was dying of cancer and that she had to undergo a life-saving treatment that he simply couldn't afford. What are the odds, he may ask? When all seemed hopeless, someone made the impossible possible. In truth, it's just as likely that any one of the 30 million participants could have equally won the lottery, with some sort of hardship in their life that winning made their reality seem also wondrous, and they too would grapple with the same reality. There will always be a reality where someone is the winner, and someone is asking these very same questions. A good litmus test for recognizing if bias is present would be to ask, would we come to the opposite conclusion if the same conditions would present themselves and we didn't have a favorable outcome? That is to say, do we observe all experiences with the same logical lens, or do we only choose to do so when the conclusions favor a desired narrative? Now, there are 10 to the 24 planets in this universe. Within this set of planets, there are a subset of planets that contain the potential for sustaining life. Within this subset, there are an even smaller subset, which contain planets with conscious observers. The probability of our planet being one of such subsets is truly something special. Every one of these intelligent conscious observers will look into the stars and come to that same conclusion. But what weight does such an argument hold if there will always be someone asking the question? More importantly, what weight does the argument hold when we can only ask the question when there is a favorable outcome? Say, if Earth just missed it for whatever reason, we would have never been there to acknowledge the opposite conclusion. Now, here's a $1 million question. If we had enough information whereby we can generate a value which objectively represents the probability of life originating on a celestial body, would that probability say that we are special, or that we are nothing but a grain of sand in a universe of oceans? That is, do we have enough of time and space so that such a probability can reasonably express itself? And if you really think about it, that's the only question we're really asking. This question becomes so much more difficult to answer when we're missing enough data to properly define the statistic. It's akin to flipping a coin 3 times, getting heads every time, and trying to use this data to determine that the probability of a coin toss is in fact 50-50. And it's this sort of complexity that lies at the core of every scientist's profession. They observe the result, often with limited data, and are forced to reverse engineer the process and determine what the rules of nature actually are.